Voltaire said, "Every man is a creature of the age in which he lives, and few are able to raise themselves above the ideas of the time." Plato said, "Wise men speak because they have something to say, fools because they have to say something." George Bernard Shaw thought that the reasonable man adapts himself to the world. The unreasonable one persists in trying to adapt the world to himself. Therefore, all progress depends on the unreasonable man. This is Whiskey Hell. Think critically. Act accordingly.
Friday, June 28th, 7:32 in the evening. This is Whiskey Hell, the news show that looks at all of the narratives and all of the news and lays them out for you in a nice bite size. It's like an edible, I think. It like makes it. I think we're trying to make things better, right? I think that's what we're trying for.
Is that what edibles do?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, they do for me,
right.
At least right now.
Right. No, they've definitely. I've had that experience with them too. So yeah. Okay. I love it. We are the edibles of news shows.
I'm going with this. We're running with this, and we're gonna see if we can make it. What if we came out with our own line of edibles? I know we threatened to do our own line of like beer, which I think that needs to happen. Maybe our own distillery. You know, like an actual Whiskey Hell,
Distillery,
like an actual whiskey.
Distillery / dispensary / brewery / fuckery.
So it'll be a whorehouse too.
Bring your own debauchery. Oh yeah. We got to have the whores.
So it's called BYOB.
Sex workers.
BYOD. Sorry, sex beers. Only sex beers.
No, sex workers. I called them whores. That's improper, and I apologize. Sex workers.
It's okay. You apologize right away. That's fine. We won't have to print in a retraction or anything. We won't have to post anything online about it. You're totally fine.
Well, there's a 2-minute delay on this, right? So we can just edit that out.
Actually, no.
In real time.
No. There's no 2-minute delay on this. We're not CNN.
Oh, damn it. Someone told me there was a 2-minute delay and I could say whatever I want and then they would just edit it in real time. Fuck.
I'm sorry.
Give me a long night.
We'll talk to your agent about that. I apologize.
It's okay.
I'm Steve McShane. This is Fitz.
Yeah.
We're your hosts.
I'm Fitz. No. You're the host. I'm the color man. I'm the
the color man.
I'm the backup singer.
The backup singer. What about a backup dancer? No, you're not even. No, you're like the guy on the keyboard that has pipes.
Okay, I'll take that. Can I have one of the what did they call those? It was like a keyboard, but it hung around your neck like a guitar.
Oh, it was like an electric keyboard. Aaron's in chat. Aaron might know. A keytar. Beard got us a keytar.
Keytar. Yes, that's me.
The hell names it a keytar?
With a set of pipes. I like it. Some pipes are longer than others, you know.
Aaron just called you Flavor Flav.
I love it. I'm gonna get myself a clock necklace. I need some outrageous sunglasses. How many wives did he end up having? Several dozen, wasn't it?
I don't know. We can consult the book of knowledge here. The book of
Grok. We definitely can.
How many wives did?
Either way, I feel like I need more wives if I'm gonna be Flava Fitz.
Yeah, you do. You need a lot. That guy's he's had a great career.
For sure. And you know what? Actually, it's fun to make fun of him, just because he's a character. But he literally was a huge influence on hip hop, the music world in general. Like he was a literal genius when it came to music.
Oh yeah, he was He absolutely was legit.
Yeah.
All right. Well, chat is ready to go. We've got Beer to Liberty, Buttercup, Justin, L, Aaron. Aaron from I had to say it, but Aaron's rocking the Suck It Chevron moniker tonight, which is fantastic. We're going to talk about that a lot. Hell of a week. And it was already a hell of a week through Wednesday. We even said this, that the dock was really going to be really, really deep. And then everything came off the fucking rails last night.
Yeah. Yep, it certainly did. And we will get into it. You will get a full reaccounting from Whiskey Hell. I actually have nothing to say about the debate itself because A, I didn't watch it. B, I didn't care about it. And C, it was the setup and then the rug pull that I'm more interested in. I could give two shits about the debate, but what happened before and what's happened after is really juicy. So sit back, get yourself some popcorn, get yourself an adult beverage. If you're into this kind of thing, get yourself a sex toy and let's do it.
I really hope somebody does that. The latter part, this sex toy, and listening to us talk about how shitty the news is. I really want that to be a fetish. I want that to show up on Pornhub.
Oh God, me too. Imagine if we had our own fucking Pornhub channel and we were our own kink. Oh my God. All right. So that fits right into the dispensary, distillery, debauchery brewery.
Yeah. All right. We better start drinking here. What beer are you drinking tonight?
Yeah. Well, no idea. And this one's going to be really no idea because there's an alliance, a coalition of brewers that are all in sort of southwest Washington on the north bank of the Columbia River. And they have this alliance, and they just all call themselves North Bank Brewing Alliance. I have a North Bank Brewing Alliance beer, and their website is absolute shit. You'll see. You go ahead, get to it, but you're gonna love this. There's absolutely nothing about beer on the entire site. I mean, there's pictures of beer, and there's people drinking beer,
picture of people,
but there's no beer.
All right.
So, it's an absolute fucking. Who knows? It's pouring very, very light. I'm almost guessing that this could be a cider of some sort.
Okay.
Yeah, like a pineapple, like an Ace pineapple, because it's pouring that light. Although the head on it suggests it's a beer. Oh, nope, it smells like a beer. I got the beer fart right in my face.
You're gonna get a Pilsner.
All right,
I'm gonna call it now.
Yeah, it could be. Let's see. Little musty. Could be in the IPA family. I'm just gonna take a swig. Fuck it.
So West Coast maybe. Is it piney?
No, I think you're right. I think this is either a Pils
or just a straight
or
up
like
ale,
an American ale. Yeah, American lager.
Okay.
I'm just gonna pull it out because I have no guess. I don't even have anything to go on here. It's a beer. Okay. It is What's with the Life Preserver, and it's got a picture of Marty McFly on it, wearing his life preserver that he took back to the 50s, which is actually pretty cool. All right. See, my wife screwed up here. This is from North Bank Brewers. This brewing company is part of North Bank Brewers, but it's actually from Weiss Beer. Weiss Beer is the name of the brewer. So let's try that. Let's throw that into the old computer, the old calculator. There's Weiss. All right.
Taste
see, now we're getting somewhere. It looks like
today.
That looks like they're all 80s themed, which is pretty cool. I dig it.
Yeah.
They got the old school Dancing Baby on there. Although that was a bit after the 80s. So maybe more 90s. Anyway, it is a light cream ale. I'm not getting any of the cream. It's really just kind of a basic lager. The part of it that I guess you could consider a cream ale is the head is sticking around. It is Haktua-ing.
So that's probably because it's a cream ale then.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's the only part of this that's a cream ale. It's only a 5%er, so
that's all right.
So it's about half gone already. It's going down like water. Luckily, I
All
have my
right,
side bitch.
so it's a three beer night for you.
Could be. Shout out to Maui Brewing. I'm having their porter that they offer, and it's such a solid porter. So, shout out to Maui. That's my side bitch beer. So, anyway, what are you drinking over there? I hope you got something exciting and fun for the kids to hear about.
Well, Beer to Liberty. This website screams free GeoCities. Yes, it does look like a GeoCities site from circa 1995. You're damn right.
100%. Yep.
Let's see here. All right, so I have a new brewer.
Okay. New to you, or are they new on the scene?
Well, they may be a little new on the scene. We're gonna have to see here. This is Lake Pleasant Brewing. So this is an Arizona beer.
Okay.
These guys are from Arizona. Here's Nick and Dustin met over 10 years ago at work, and they bonded over
Oh,
beer.
that's sweet.
This is really
God,
nice.
I love stories like that. Good
It's
for you
fantastic.
guys.
I'm really happy for those two. That's it. That's the website, lakepleasantbrewing.com.
Yeah, they
But
got some
you're here for the
they
beer,
got some
not
work
the
to do
website.
on the website there. Yeesh.
All right, so I actually am going with Swally Export Scottish Ale. I have two of their beers
Oh,
tonight. One I'm using as my side bitch. I have one of their
okay.
Maybachs, which is a fantastic Maybach. But this one it's a Scottish, which is one of my favorite types of styles of beer. So I'm interested to see how they did. Virtually no smell at all, no nose. Hmm. Not bad, but it's the export that always throws me because if you have like the Guinness export, it's a little bit drier.
Yeah.
It's a little bit
Yeah.
more. It's just a little bit something different to it. Um, hmm. Dirty,
Okay. I
definitely a
like my
Scotch.
Scots dirty. Uh-huh.
Yeah. um, I kind of look at that style as one that I want to keep in the fridge, and I don't. We'll have to see how this one goes. I don't know that I would keep this one in the fridge, but we'll see. We'll see how the rest of the evening goes. Interesting though. I like
Incidentally,
that they took a run
yeah.
at it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, for a new brewer to go right out with a Scotch ale, that's good for them.
Yeah.
Incidentally, Lake Pleasant is a it's an important lake in Arizona. We won't go into all the details. I'm sure you could school everybody since you know a lot about the water system and electrical system there in Arizona. But Lake Pleasant right now is at an all-time, not an all-time high, but way above what you guys have been the past few years. So
Oh
that's
yeah.
kind of a good thing. Yeah. Um,
Um, we right now are flush with water, just like
yeah.
we were talking a couple weeks ago about Idaho and how flush they are.
Yeah.
We are absolutely flush with water right now. So get out, enjoy your water
Yeah.
sports.
Isn't that yeah? And isn't it weird? You don't hear that on the news.
No,
You don't hear that from
no.
the mainstream media. You don't hear that Phoenix
Mm-mm.
is basically out of the drought that they've been in for years.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you don't hear about that. I just thought I'd bring it
No,
up. I just thought it was interesting. Yeah.
no, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And we're not going to hear because the only thing that really matters is heat domes and gigantic dust clouds from Africa. And, well, we haven't talked about gas stoves this week. So I guess we've got that going for us. But yeah, that's,
No, but we are gonna talk about cow farts.
oh, Jesus. Are we? Do we have a story about cow farts?
Well, isn't like the Netherlands? Aren't they taxing each cow fart?
Oh, they are. Denmark is farmers
Denmark.
are paying per farting cow. Yes, it's a legit
Okay.
story.
Yeah, we got to get there for sure.
All right.
Um, yeah.
So here's how we want to play tonight. Um, and Fitz, I thought you set this up really nice in our chat. So for our Patreons who've been you guys were absolutely, by the way, you guys were locked in this week. The stories, the comments, the stuff you were posting on Twitter X was fantastic. So Beard, I know I've
Agreed.
got some stories from you. I know Aaron's chimed in on some stuff. Jay, I know you're not here, but I know you had some stuff that was posted. Just there's a lot of content going on, and everybody was just wired in. So we're gonna start from the Julian Assange release, and I this came out of the blue. It was
Out of the blue. Yes.
completely rogue. It didn't
Yes.
fit any narratives. It didn't fit anything other than once you heard it, that you're like, okay, well, they just did that to undermine Trump because Trump wanted to do that when he got into the office, right? So they undermined him by 6 months. No big deal.
Right. And there was no like setup to it. There was no like, hey, Julian Assange's lawyers are in talks with the Biden administration to possibly get him. No setup. No, hey, this might happen. It was just like, bam, breaking news. Julian Assange has been released, and it was like on a fucking, was that Monday? It was like on a Monday or Tuesday, and it made no sense with anything else that was going on in the world. It was just like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool, I guess. That's a win. And then, and then, and then we found out what it was that he had to agree to in order to get released. What did he have to agree to, McShane?
Well, he actually ended up. He agreed to get rid of some published information.
Okay. On?
Well, here's the catch, though, right? Because if you look at it, you're thinking that he was just supposed to give up some of the data, some of the information, some of the stories that they posted, some of the emails. Nobody ever came out and said that this actually happened, other than the DNC emails completely disappearing from WikiLeaks.
There you go.
So
bingo.
That kind of set the stage for the rest of the week. Now, we might be going out on a limb a little bit, but here's how we usually play these, right? One, it's never a coincidence, right? We know that, right? You follow the money.
We don't believe in coincidences anymore.
Yeah, there's no such thing as coincidences.
Yeah.
We follow the money. Nothing is done for free. And then you look at the timing, right? So it's not rocket science. I mean, everybody in chat knows this. I think we know the Matrix at this point.
We're not geniuses. Yeah. Right.
But there's so many people who don't get it, which that's why we do the show. So this week, yes, Julian Assange was released from prison. He was flown to a island out in the Pacific where he went to court. He pled out with time served of 5 years in jail, which it was a lot fucking longer than that if you count all the times.
He
stuck
was
in Ecuador.
He was exactly. He was stuck in Ecuador's embassy for like 7 years. So yeah, thanks for time served. Fuck off.
And he's going home to he's going home to Australia. Did you see who paid for his flight?
No.
With Bitcoin?
Was it Trump?
Jack Dorsey.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep.
Jack, I feel like it was really easy to hate on Jack for many reasons, and I'm not absolving him of anything he did.
No.
When he was the head of Twitter, I'm not absolving him at all. I do think he has realized his mistakes and he's trying to make amends. And I'll just leave it at that. We don't have to go into a lot of details or anything, but I've seen some of him. He's spoken publicly only a few times, and in those times, he really regrets his actions, and he should, he absolutely should, and he should take responsibility for him. But I think this probably was another sort of olive branch, like, hey, still sorry about the role I played in
my bad
all of this. Yeah. Okay, so let's get back to the crux of it. And for those of you playing along at home who don't know, the DNC is the Democratic National Committee. They have been implicated either directly or indirectly in a lot of the Hillary Clinton shit, the emails, the missing hard drives, all of that stuff. Obviously, implicated in a possible theft of the election in 2020. Certainly were a huge part of the smear campaign that went out against Trump, the Russian disinformation and all of that. And they were also heavily involved in making sure that the Hunter Biden laptop story was completely discredited and not allowed to, be proven true until, now we know it was real and it's fucking terrible. So you've got the DNC sort of being this, I guess they're a private organization, but they're manipulating all of these governmental agencies, this alphabet soup, to manipulate the news, what people were fed and how they were fed it on many different levels. And that's just the shit we know about. And now all of these emails, all of this information gets erased so that Assange can go free. What the hell was in those emails? Because if we know about those 5 or 6 things I just named off, which are heinous and bad, what else is out there, and what did they need to go away in order for Assange to be released? You all need to be asking yourselves that, and keep that in mind. Put that on the back burner as we talk about the events of the rest of the week here.
The thing that bothers me the most about that is that this is basically it's a private entity. And that was a governmental deal that said, yeah, it's okay. You know what, Lee, we'll let you out as long as you get rid of that private. It's like if you told a bank, right, we'll let you out of jail. We won't say anything as long as you get rid of all of the bank's documents that you have, or all of Pfizer's documents that you have. Just go ahead and get rid of it, and we'll let you out of jail. That's the equivalent of what happened. It's shady, shady, shady. It absolutely is.
And I the interesting thing about emails, guys, is that publicly the story came out that the DNC emails disappeared from WikiLeaks. Yes, they did. They disappeared from WikiLeaks. You can't find them on WikiLeaks anymore. How many servers out there? How many people do you think are day and night, 24 hours, 7 days a week, just pulling information off of there and downloading it on their own fucking servers? And so this is not going to go away. This was just to get Assange released and to publicly release a statement saying, hey, the DNC is cleared of all wrongdoing. Very weird.
Well,
shit. Very
along
weird.
those lines, Fitz, Kim.com from Pirate Bay fame, as soon as this dropped, goes out and says, hey, if you want the files that were deleted, we got them. Here's the link. So that'll be in show notes if anybody wants to go out and look at the files that were downloaded off of WikiLeaks. I'll just go and throw it out there for you. We have not taken a look. No. I don't have 20,000 hours to get into that.
Right.
But definitely take a look. See what you find. It's a great historic find, if nothing else. You can see how awful we've been in the past and how we really need to do better.
Yeah.
All right. So this starts the week. Then we come to Thursday, where we have the debate of all debates, the absolute throwdown of 2 near invalids. Elder abuse at its finest. CNN is holding the debate for our presidency. Did you know that this is the earliest we've ever had a debate? We've never had a debate this early.
Not only this early, we've never even had a debate before the month of September. So it's not like this is just a little bit. It's not just a little bit early. It's months earlier than any other debate has taken place. So this was literally, when we say the words unprecedented, it was that there is no precedent for A, why this was held now, B, how quickly it was thrown together, C, the events leading up to it, everything from Biden's 6 days in Martha's Vineyards or wherever the fuck he was, getting pumped full of cocktails and I mean, the memes around that were just fantastic. Putting his head
Yeah.
on a Terminator body and stuff. It was really great. But none of this, we've not seen any of this before. So I personally, I won't speak for everybody. I personally was going, what is this? What the fuck is going on here? And we all had our quiet thoughts in the back parts of our minds.
Yes, we
And
did.
then it happened, and all of those little dark thoughts were confirmed. Every single one of them. What a farce. Holy shit.
So the ground rules for this battle royale was 2 minutes per speaker. There were going to be cutting off mics if anybody tried to talk over the other one. You weren't, and it was awkward too. We'll get into the actual debate. They had very, very strict rules. There was no press in the audience. There were no extra cameras. The only feed that you got was going to be CNN's. We were in chat last night. Aaron Beard, L, and Joe Bonnick was in there, and we were watching it together. And we were using the C-SPAN feed, but it had CNN's name all over it.
Right.
So that was the setup for this farce. Now, like you said, it's never happened this early. Why does it not happen this early? Because you don't even know who's supposed to be running for president. You haven't been through either of the nominations. The conventions haven't been. It waits until September because, okay, now we know who's going to be in it. Let's go ahead and throw down. Let's go. But that wasn't the case with this. So they pushed it up in advance. Now, keep in your minds that they pushed this up way in advance. So there had to have been a reason why they would do that. Now, the debate comes around. Now, I think we're going to spare everybody the absolute shenanigans, but if you can find the part where Trump and Biden start arguing about who has the lower handicap in golf, I suggest you do it. It was fantastic.
Like any of us give a shit, but whatever.
No,
Okay, yeah, that's
but
part of a
they
presidential
went there.
debate.
It was
I know.
amazing. It was fantastic. But the debate itself was two guys lying, one elderly, and Biden could not keep his head on straight. He couldn't finish sentences. At one point, he talked about immigrant. What was it? He tried to imply that sisters were raping sisters because of abortion. It was just fucking surreal where he went with this.
Yep.
Yeah, in-law rape too. Thank you, Justin.
Yep.
That happened
Yep.
also.
He also claimed zero soldiers have, in a
Yes.
moment of shocking disrespect, he claimed that zero soldiers have died under his watch as president.
Yeah.
And so the families of those soldiers who have died under his watch clearly are not going to be voting for Biden because fuck you. Don't discredit the death of my, family member just because you want to look good on national television. Fuck off.
They came out heavy on him today. So that got
good.
They got throttled, or he got throttled for that. But you had, and Trump, I will give it to him. I don't know. I mean, he was virile. He was in control. He looked presidential. I can't agree with everything that he said, but he was on fire, locked in, and it was a mugging, Fitz. It was an absolute mugging.
And as it had to be. As it had to be.
Yes.
It couldn't have gone any other way. Because you know why? Because that's what everyone was expecting to see. Everyone sort of on, kind of like the autism spectrum. Everyone was on the how bad is this going to be spectrum.
Oh yeah.
I knew, you knew it was going to be an absolute fucking mauling.
But going in though, didn't you think that there was going to be absolute shenanigans by CNN? I didn't think this was going to be a straight up debate. I thought it was going to be all softballs and Biden was going to get an easy road. And this was all about making him look good. That ain't what happened.
It was not. And I mean, they were softballs. I mean, none of those questions. First of all, they both knew whatever questions were going to be asked way ahead of time. Don't fool yourself. This wasn't an ad hoc debate. They both knew what was coming. But so nothing was a surprise. But if they had put together the circus that you're suggesting, that they were going to just try and make Biden look good, it would have been even worse. So why not play the sympathy card and just say, well, it's a bully beating up an old man, but the old man's clearly got to go.
So right after this gets done, right? So we've had all the debates over. There's a scene where Jill comes up and takes the frail old man off the stage. She takes him to the side room where she praises Joe for you answered all the questions, Joe. You did such a good job. You did amazing. It was like he ate all of his fruit cup. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
And he ends up, well, oh shit, we've got a Hefe. Before we get to like the ultra fucked up stuff that happened today, Hefe, how's your night going, man?
It's slow so far. So it's okay.
Are people coming in sweaty?
No, not that I've seen. Maybe.
Well, then that means they're not. That means they're not working hard enough. God damn it.
Well, maybe the nether regions are sweaty, but that's not my job to check that.
Can you imagine the amount and the ecosystem of bacteria that's on those seats that are in your casino?
Well, we wash them every night. Well, when we close the table, or we're supposed to.
Yeah.
Some dealers just skip that part, but I shoot them with the spray and rub them down. So that's the least I can do.
I mean, I'm not to quote Jeff Goldblum here, but life finds a way. I'm telling you, you're not killing shit. Anyway, hey, so along those lines, go ahead, Hefe. Remind me, I want to ask you guys a question. Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. You go first.
Well, okay. Okay. This is like out of left field, but you'll understand why I thought of it. All right, so at my work, there's kind of like one bathroom that we all pretty much use. There are other bathrooms, but they're a hike. So all of the staff and the admin, we all use the same bathroom. And there's this one gentleman. He's kind of high up in the place where I work. Nice guy. I really like the guy. I'm not trying to disparage him here, but I've walked in, over the course of almost a year I've been there. I've walked in probably 3 or 4 times while he's just finishing up at the urinal, and I come up. There's only 2 urinals, so there's really no choice. You got to like stand next to each other, and it's awkward, but whatever. And every single time I've walked in, he's always dressed professionally. He's got nice slacks on, khakis. His belt is undone while he's urinating, and he has to. I hear him zip up his zipper, and then he does his belt. Can either of you fathom? He's a thin guy. He's very trim, very fit. But he undoes his belt to be at the urinal, and I cannot for the life of me figure out why he would do that. Why would you have to do that? Does he not know how zippers work?
Well, I kind of, I don't typically do that, but I kind of see it gives you a little bit more room. You know what I mean?
Okay,
like,
that was the only thing I was thinking is like he must be huge.
Well,
he's hung like a snuffleupagus, and he needs clearance.
Either that, or he has a thing with zippers, and it's too tight of a window. He undoes the button in the belt, it kind of opens it up, and there's no fear of zipper friction. That's the only thing I can think of, and the big cock.
I was also thinking maybe he had a there's something about Mary moment. Like he got his dick caught in a zipper one time, and now it's just traumatized him. I don't know.
Got a zipper phobia.
Yeah, I mean, you see a thing like that once, and you're like, okay, that's kind of weird. But I literally every time I've ever come into the bathroom, he's as he's finishing up, I hear the zip, and then he does his belt. And I don't
maybe he's jerking off, and because he just happens to be finishing up every time you look in there. I think he's beating up.
But I mean, I can beat off without undoing my belt. I can do a lot of things with my dick without undoing my belt. Some of you out there in chat, you've seen me do it.
Tie your shoes.
That's not true. I don't know. Yeah, exactly. I can do lots of shit. I don't know. I just thought I'd throw it out there, see if you guys had any ideas. Because it's odd.
The first thing, I think you need to work on is you guys are on possibly the same schedule. So you should probably take it upon yourself to throw that schedule off. Just to make sure you don't go in there in case he is taking care of business while he's there. But we have comments in chat that I think are important to comment on. Justin, doesn't everyone just flip it out the zipper hole? Yes, I think most everybody does. Absolutely.
That's what I do. Yep.
Aaron, he's got a little dick. I mean, if you have to undo your belt to go fishing it out, that's totally a possibility.
But I mean, what kind of underwear are you wearing that you can't even get your hand in there? Like
tighty whities. He wears tighty whities, dude.
I can get my hand in tighty whities, dude.
You wear tighty whities?
In my own, not in other people's. No, I don't wear tighty whities, but I used to, like back when I was in 3rd grade. I mean, I don't. Anyway, go ahead. Because the comments are fantastic here.
Beard of Liberty. Some guys are over the fence rather than through the gate.
And I thought that too.
I think that's
what
plausible.
I thought maybe he's wearing women's underwear. That's his kink. So he's wearing women's underwear. So he has to. But even that, you could just unzip the zipper and then pull the panties down and get your dick out. I don't know.
So I'm thinking
yes,
he goes in.
I'm on it.
Please get man. I was. Oh shit! Yeah, you should. And then let's make sure you pipe us in when we are in HR.
Yeah, because my job's over.
So he could be adjusting. Does he tuck in his shirt?
No. We
okay.
Business casual. Polos.
He's got something weird going on. Maybe he doesn't really have a dick, and he's like using one of those. What if he's using one of those things, like the women pee things, so they can pee standing up, the pee cups?
Oh, yeah, my wife has one of those. Yeah. Maybe he's a she, like down there.
You could be. He could be.
Okay, I mean that's plausible. I see. This is good. I'm glad we're talking about this because I've literally been wondering it. Guys, I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm like, why does he do that? Why does he do his belt when he's standing up to pee?
What was he doing
anyway?
In here? Why is he in this room when I'm peeing?
Hefe, what was your story?
Well, switching gears a little bit. There's I call him a kid. He's the dealer here. He's really young, and he's like 22, 23.
Oh yeah, that's a kid.
Yeah, and he's a part-timer. And the part-timers, like when you're hired, if you say, hey, I have another job, like I did when I first started here. I said I work, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, whatever. So I'm unavailable. So they gave me, they gave me leeway there and gave me a schedule that I could work with. If you just come in and say I'm open whenever, then they'll give you whatever. So, and whatever days off too. So he's got that's him. He's just wide open. Doesn't have another job. So he just has the schedule they give him. And every week that he's scheduled on Tuesday night, he has to switch with somebody. And I asked him why. And he said, because I'm in a kickball league. And I was like, this motherfucker is in a kickball league? And he's changing his work schedule because of it. And the more I thought about it, that was totally me and totally us back in the day. When I was that age, we were playing football.
Absolutely.
Everything revolved around that. Like, I went to California with a girl I was dating way back then. And we drove, and I said, we're driving. If we're coming back Saturday, we're coming back like 5 in the morning because I got a football game at 11, and I'm not missing. We got up and we were on the road by 5, so we could make back to football.
Yep.
Hardcore
I remember those
dedication.
days
That's what
too.
it comes down to.
Yeah, that was priority, big time.
Yeah, totally.
So Buttercup
and
says your sex life revolved around your games.
Yeah, you gotta have strong legs, man.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. There's certain things you can do, and there's certain things you can't do the night before.
So, did you pull the Italian soccer team? And sorry, that sounded really, really bad. Did you do the? I'm not going to. That's a good point. Well, both of you for that. No. Did you pause and make sure that you did not no sexual activities before the before games?
Me?
Yeah. Well,
No.
both of you for that matter.
He's asking both of us. Go ahead.
I tried. It didn't matter.
What was your philosophy on that?
No, I didn't really believe in that at the time. Like it was, you know, if it was there for me on Friday night, I wasn't going to turn it down.
Yeah, I listen. This is gonna sound disparaging. I'm not meaning it to, but that's like shit that baseball players believe in. Like I'm not a baseball player. Like I'm gonna drink when I want to drink, and I'm gonna drink as much as I can. I'm gonna fuck when I want to fuck, and I'm gonna fuck as much as I can. And if I happen to have a game the next day and I show up, you know, completely hungover with my balls drained, I'm probably gonna play better. So. Mm-hmm. That was my philosophy.
I did it both ways, and it had no bearing whatsoever. Honestly, it came down to if I was still inebriated, I played better. So I just kind of tried to hang on that. So.
Well, I remember a particular game. We don't have to go into the details, but 3 out of the 5 of us brought flasks and were drinking during the game. So
yes,
I definitely played better, slightly to mostly inebriated.
Oh.
You remember our first tournament though? You remember that? Way back in the day. We played pool play. We were 3-0 in pool play, and the next day we came back for the tournament, and we were all hungover. And we just I think we got shut out that game.
Sounds about right.
Derek was just, oh my God, I've never seen him so hungover.
That wasn't the one up in Flag, was it?
No, that was our very first tournament I think it was at Diablo.
Oh,
it was
okay.
or aired out, I think it was at the time. Yeah. And we played that one team. They were what were they? They made that hissing sound when they, remember that?
Yeah, I remember those fucking douchebags. Yes.
They put their little fangs up and went, like, what the fuck? Yep.
Yeah. See, that was the beginnings of like furries. when
we lost to
like
furries.
That
I really wish I'd not known about that.
So I got a farm report.
Oh,
okay.
Really? Do you want to do it now, or do you want to do
gas?
it, or do you want to hit it on the second break?
Yeah, we'll get it next time.
All right.
We'll get it next break.
All right.
I love that. I love that. Excellent.
Justin says it sounds like we were playing against Global Gym. Yes, there were
basically
there were a lot of teams that were like that.
Yeah, there was a lot of homosexuality going on out there, and even if they wouldn't admit it, there was a lot of crotch grabbing and ass slapping, and yeah.
I saw one of those
grab ass.
One of those I don't know what they're called, but where they take a character or 2 different characters, same actor or whatever, from different movies, and put them together like it's one big timeline. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yep.
It was Ben Stiller in Globo Gym and Happy Gilmore.
Yes.
Hal at the nursing home. Yeah,
yes.
it was pretty funny.
Yeah. Yep. My favorite one is the black dude that was in Die Hard, and then he was so traumatized that he was on that family show with Urkel, And they tied together like 3 or 4 things in that one. That was pretty incredible.
All right, so you've got. Sorry, what?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
The farm report is very informative, so stay tuned for that.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Tabby is waiting. Tabby has actually put a diaper on because she's so excited.
Yeah. Yeah, and on a scale of 0 to nightmares, how disturbing is it?
It
is it like turkey sex disturbing? Because that was pretty goddamn disturbing.
If turkey sex was a 10, this is a 5. It's not just
turkey fight club.
All right, so we're going straight up informative then. I like it. All right. I mean, I like them all, but that's
right. Yeah.
Oh well, we might have a new listener soon.
Really?
Yep. My sister asked about it today.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, the living one, not
right.
The one that passed away. That would be weird.
Oh no, the one that passed away. I know she's an avid listener for sure.
Oh hell yeah.
She's in fact, when I look at the stats, I can see that she's still downloading. That's all that matters.
There you go.
All right, guys, there you go.
All right, man.
Thank you,
Have a good
Hefe.
night. We'll see you in a bit.
All right, see you in an hour.
I appreciate that Hefe can talk about it because a lot of people can't go there with dead
and joke about
stuff,
it.
So yeah, right. Because death is funny. At the end of the day, like I hope all you motherfuckers make a lot of fucking jokes. I hope I die in some weird, bizarre way, like I choke on a pickle or something, and you can be like,
"How big a pickle?"
Oh, it's gonna be huge. It's gonna be comically big. Like to the point where you're like, I didn't even know they grew pickles that big.
That's actually a cucumber, and you weren't trying to eat it. You were deep throating it. That's what was happening.
And then I just want the jokes to come out, man. Just make fun, please. My God, have fun and drink like there's no tomorrow at my celebration of life, my wake. Anyway, let's get back. Can we get back to the master debate here? And how this thing is peeling off and fermenting.
Well, let's just throw it out to CNN and let them bring it back for us.
Minutes into the debate, and it continues right now. It involves party strategists, it involves elected officials, it involves fundraisers. And they're having conversations about the president's performance, which they think was dismal, which they think will hurt other people down the party in the ticket, and they're having conversations about what they should do about it. Some of those conversations include, should we go to the White House and ask the president to step aside? Other of the conversations are about, should prominent Democrats go public with that call? Because they feel this debate was so terrible. They do say, in moments in the debate later, the president got better and got his footing, but then at the end, even his closing statement was a little...
All right, so that's the first comments from CNN. Let's go and listen to Chris Wallace, who has been absolutely rabid since he left CBS.
We heard the partisan panel start to wistfully look in the air and talk about what if he wasn't on the ticket. And I think that kind of language and the kinds of things that you're going to see over the next 24 hours is really going to be the important conversation. This debate was early. Is it early enough for there to be some other discussion, more fulsome, taken more seriously? And we'll find that out.
And one of the questions I have is, who, if Joe and Jill Biden don't make that decision on their own, is there anybody in the party? Because, the party's system has been so weakened. There were a group of people that came to Richard Nixon in August of 1974 and said, you know what, you got to leave. You have 4 votes in the Senate, and you either resign or you're going to be removed from office. I'm not sure there's anybody with that kind of authority in the Democratic Party who could go to Joe Biden and say, it's time to say goodbye.
And they said that President Biden had a cold and that he was recovering from that.
Yeah.
I mean, that came about 50 minutes into the debate after he had been on. Obviously, they're passing that on background to reporters who are tweeting it. Voters who are watching at home, millions of them who have never even considered having a Twitter account, are not going to see that. And
Time Magazine has a picture of Biden walking off of the page, meaning it's time for him to go, with the words "panic" in white on a big red background. Very, very telling of what the message was today, because of what a train wreck this actually ended up being.
And I think Ian Carroll had a post on X today that really sums up my feelings, and then kind of which side of the fence you're standing on right now. But he said, if you were shocked by what happened last night, you need to ask yourself why you were shocked. Because those of us who've been paying attention, we've seen this senility, the inability to speak clearly, to hold a thought, to debate people, to even just look cogent. We've seen this for 3 years. I mean, basically right after he got elected, it was like, oh boy, here we go. So if you were surprised by that performance last night, you really have some shit to work out, because most of us who've been watching were not the least bit surprised. In fact, that's what we expected. And I guess that's what I was trying to get to earlier, McShane, is that and this lady in the last clip you just played, she said this was a very early debate. Was it early enough? Of course it was early enough. That's why they held it now. That was the whole point of this thing, was for a coup in the Democratic Party to happen, and for it to be done peacefully, and for it to be done publicly, so that the DNC and all the Democratic liberals out there, they're going to think it was their idea to have Joe step aside. That's what all these people that are talking about it, like, is it time? There's rumors that Barack Obama is having dinner with Joe Biden, and he's going to be the one that asks him to step aside. So this was all a play to make it look like the Democrats are the ones finally admitting, okay, let's ask him to step aside. And it's not the MAGA awful, horde of right-wing conspiracy conservatists who forced him out, but it was our choice, because we noticed he's not fit to be president right now. That's what this all was about. Don't kid yourself.
So this gentleman, this is from a gentleman that's called The Hourly Struggle. It's on TikTok. This is about a good 2 minutes, 45 seconds. I think you guys will enjoy this.
But it's good stuff.
Interested in arguing over who won the debate between Biden and Trump, because this debate, it was never about them. Since 1976, there hasn't been a single presidential debate that took place before the third week in September, with September 21st being the earliest on record in 1980. Until now, when this first debate here in 2024 is 12 weeks earlier than anything in 50 years. Why? Because Trump didn't matter in this debate. This was never meant to be a debate between Trump and Biden. This entire ordeal, which was set up, planned, and arranged by Biden's team, was always meant to be a referendum against Biden himself. If the debates were set to a normal schedule, using the precedent going back to Ford versus Carter, then there would be no way to swap Biden off the ballot, because the Democratic National Convention is being held in August, and with some ballot access challenges, specifically in Ohio, the Dems have to know who their presidential candidate is before a normal debate could be scheduled. While this isn't news, now we have the results of this referendum, and they don't look good for Biden. It appears the DNC is in open revolt, trying to figure out how to massage Biden off the ballot, with the sticking point of who to replace him with. Ultimately, I believe the biggest problems for the Dems is, how do you solve a problem like Kamala? And that problem alone might be what's been fueling the Biden loyalists in the hopes that he could squeeze out a decent performance, and then they could just hide him for the rest of the campaign and probably cancel the future debates under some asinine pretext to be poll tested later. Despite the Dems trying to convince people of Biden's vim and vigor, spending weeks downplaying the videos of him looking lost and befuddled, with the White House crying about cheap fakes, the Biden that showed up put the lie to the rhetoric and showed the world that he is, in fact, incapable of basic coherence. All Biden had to do was show up and spout the same tired talking points that every DNC NPC has been spewing for 8 years, sprinkle in January 6th and add in that Trump is a convicted felon for the time being, and voila, that's the ballgame for Team Biden to avoid the revolt in his own party. But no. While the DNC is blaming a cold for Biden's inability to repeat tired talking points in a reasonable fashion, people are simply going to be comparing this Biden to the videos the White House and their media allies have been gaslighting America about recently. When at the after party, Jill Biden is congratulating Joe for,
Joe, you did such a great job. You answered every question. You knew all the facts.
answering every question, you know he's cooked. Now we'll watch as the power players, opportunists, and the wolves in the party come out to feast on his rotting campaign while jockeying for position ahead of the delegate fight in August. The betting odds appear to favor Gavin Newsom as a replacement candidate, but anything can happen in the next few months. So while everyone is arguing over who won, Trump or Biden, the only story worth watching in regards to this debate is which faction of the DNC is going to win out after Biden's evident loss against himself. It's going to be interesting to watch, if nothing else. Cheers.
Really good follow. So if you guys are on TikTok, The Hourly Struggle is the guy to go ahead and check out there. Well thought out, and I think plausible. I don't have any argument with what he was saying there. I think that they are.
Yeah, I'm even going to go. Oh, sorry. I was just going to say I'm going to go a step further and say it's probable. There's no other reason to have a debate this early.
There's no reason to have a debate this early. It seems like they were pushing him out. The story about him having a cold is bizarre. He went, like Justin said, was it Justin? I think it was Justin. Yeah. He went to Waffle House right afterwards, but seemed to be okay. This morning at one of his little pep rallies, he was fired up and vigor, fire and brimstone. It was a totally different guy.
Yeah, he had a caffeine colonoscopy or something, because he was a totally different guy, and you can't tell me that wasn't a fucking body double. See, that's the other part of this where I go, okay, this was meant to make Biden the sacrificial lamb, because they have any number of body doubles for him. We saw the one guy trying to escape out the back of the White House that time, and so they could have had anybody on that stage, anybody who was coherent, smart, well-read, ready to answer any question, and who could have challenged Trump legitimately. They didn't wheel any of those guys out. They wheeled out the old, feeble Biden that we all know is the real Biden and who needs to go. And so it's like, again, they had lots of tools that they could have used to win last night's debate. They chose instead to make Biden really look his worst, and it worked. But again, because we are whiskey hell, we have to say, think critically, act accordingly. You got to dig deeper on this one. What they're showing you is never what the truth is. It's what they want you to see, and they wanted us to see a decrepit geriatric old man get his ass kicked, and that's what we saw.
So we threw out a poll right after the debate, and got 25,000 views. We got 385 votes. Question was tonight's debate orchestrated to end Joe Biden's presidential run? 78.4% of voters said yes, it was. No was 21.6%. We got some really good comments also around the poll. Alabar L'chaim: I'm surprised they didn't bring Newsom out from backstage to take Biden's place. Kind of expected that to happen during some of their potty breaks that they took. I'm going to call them potty breaks because that's what they fucking looked like. Right. Big T. Great participation on X. Just a really, somebody who actually gives a shit. And so he's going to add in to the conversation. Yep. Yeah. And just a good guy. Right. And by the way, ladies, if you're in the market, he is a single man out there looking for a good woman, and he's a good man. So just think about it. That's all I'm saying. Just think about it. Do it top cat with 2 T's on X. Reach out to us. We'll connect you with them. I don't think the Democrats are that smart. I'm also sure that they don't have anyone they can get behind who has a chance. Alice, maybe, of course. So she's obviously on the side of it being orchestrated. Stupenzo, no idea who this is, but that's awesome. Why else would they do it in June? Kind of the same thing that we had. Emperor of Canada, after seeing that performance, absolutely. I expected Joe to be all jacked up on something. This was so bad. The only examination was it was deliberate. Yeah. Yep. And I think that's the consensus out there at this point. Well, at least with those of us who are thinking people. I mean, obviously, the absolute
fucking crybabies out there who were like, he got bullied and Trump was just a liar. What you saw was an old man and a liar on stage. It's like, first of all, what presidential candidate since, I don't know, the fucking 40s hasn't been a liar? Name me one. There isn't one. So they're all liars. So you can't use that against Trump. He's doing what they all do. Yes, he's going to make promises he won't keep. Yes, he's going to lie to make himself look better. And yes, he's going to lie to make the other guy look worse. Biden did the same thing. There were several posts today that I saw that enumerated every one of Biden's lies, and it's a pretty close number of lies for both of them. So you can't say that, well, Trump's biggest fault was he lied last night. So did Biden, and so has every other president we've had in the last 80 years. So not a valid argument.
All right. So Biden today says he's not going to leave. He's not going to go out. He will not quit. He's going to finish the race. We all know that there's a strong contingent that says that he needs to leave and they need to go ahead and put somebody else in. At least that's the way it is this week. We'll see how it is next week. Gavin Newsom was all over the place. You saw no Michelle Obama. I didn't see anybody else from the DNC other than maybe Kamala. Kamala came out and she was running point a lot today in her $62,000 necklace that she was rocking. But that was that's who all I saw. Who did you see?
I can't think of his name. I'm efforting to look it up. Whitmer.
Oh, Whitmer.
Is it Whitmer or Whitmer? Yeah. He was trying to take the mic. I don't know. I'm not. I know those are the three names that I've heard: Newsom, Whitmer, and Kamala. I think the DNC has a real problem in Kamala. I know why she was given the vice presidency. We all know why she was given it. But then she has time after time proven herself to be less than adequate for even being a vice president. So they can't let that happen. There's no way, because then we truly would be the laughing stock of the world. I mean, we can't let
Chip
that happen.
Roy
So
put out the call today. He wants the 25th Amendment. That would put Kamala right in line.
So here we are. Okay. Yes, but only for a few months. Right? I mean, she can take over and be the 25th Amendment. I guess we should give some background here. 25th Amendment basically claims that the president is either unable or unwilling or unfit to hold office. And so he can be removed from office, in which case the next person in line, the vice president, would step up and be president. That doesn't mean that she would be the nominee for the Democrats going forward. In fact, I can guarantee she wouldn't be. But so here's the tinfoil hat moment of the night, everybody. If you got them, put them on. I think buried in those DNC emails that are now supposedly wiped from the internet, even though we know they're not, but in those DNC emails, there was a plan for this very thing to happen, this very scenario. And they couldn't let it be known that this was the plan all along. So they had to get rid of those emails and then stage this debate. That the emails had to go away before tonight, or before the debate last night. They did. They went away, and then we could prop up the old man. Everybody gets to make fun of him. He goes away, and now we get to insert, whoever, the Hitler, some fucking, abortion clinic doctor. I don't know, whoever they're going to get to be the DNC nominee. Gavin Newsom, I mean, what a joke. California is the biggest train wreck on the planet right now. So if that's their choice, that just shows you how desperate they are. So anyway, that's my theory. It's definitely not been proven. But if you look at the timeline, which is why we started with Assange, if you look at the timeline, that those emails get to go away because they would have proven that this was the plan all along. And now here we are, Friday night, talking about the 25th Amendment. It just feels like a coup. It feels like a plan. There's just no other reason to do it this early in the year.
Well, to back up that theory, the New York Times had an op-ed from Nicholas Kristof. Okay, this is a big talking head for New York Times. Locked and loaded on 6/25/2024. Just waiting to drop. That was 2 days before the debate even happened.
So, again, it was pre-planned. They knew he was going to shit the bed. God damn. You know, you said earlier, like, you start to see the Matrix, you know, and so you just start to, it's not a gift.
It's a curse.
You know, none of us here in chat, none of us who are part of this show, none of you who listen to this show regularly every week, it's not a good feeling to be able to see things coming and then they come true. It sucks. I mean, no wonder Cassandra, you know, that was a curse. She wasn't given the gift of seeing the future. She was giving the curse of seeing the future. And it's fucked up. It's fucked up.
All right.
Not that I would ever hurt myself. I'm not
You're
suicidal.
not suicidal.
I want to go on record.
None of us are suicidal.
No, neither me or McShane would ever hurt
or
ourselves
each other or
anyone
else.
we love.
No, we're actually very kind, loving.
Yeah, because we need to get to Senator Massey too. That was fucking whoa.
Yeah, that was interesting too. Well, that's second half of the show kind of stuff. So we'll get into that. What? So how did that beer go? Good.
Oh yeah, I mean, like I said, it was pretty much just a step above water. You know, every morning, I'm a huge AG1 fan, by the way. If any of you are having any sort of gut problems, or you know, you don't like taking pill vitamins, or you just want a great start to your day, and I'm not being paid by AG1. I'm just saying I love AG1. And I love the taste of it. I love the whole experience. This went down smoother than my AG1 does every morning. This beer, it just went down. That cup's been empty for the last.
You're well
20
hydrated
minutes.
then.
I'm well. Oh yeah, and I do have to piss like a racehorse. So
go piss like a racehorse.
How about you? How'd your beer
It was
go?
fine. No, I wouldn't keep it in the house. I think I've got way better Scottish ales that I'm more intrigued by. But if the price is right, I wouldn't mind getting it again, but it's not going to be a staple. I do like that we've got another brewery that's willing to take a shot at, you know, some more esoteric like styles that not everybody else wants to take a run at. So I do like that. I do like that.
Yeah, some old school stuff.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah.
So hats off to Lake Pleasant Brewing. All right, coming up, Supreme Court went off the last 24 hours. We're going to get back into that. We'll be right back with you. Fitz, when was the last time that we had an Evil Twin on here? Evil Twin Brewing? Do you remember?
Oh, geez, it's been a minute. We both had some Evil Twin beers on the show. It's a staple, just in the sense that they're one of those that they don't do a bad beer. They're fucking amazing. So, but it's been a while. I think you and I have both been trying to branch out and try some new stuff and give some of the, you know, new guys on the block a day in court. But yeah, it's been a while. That's a good call. I'm guessing you've got an Evil Twin.
I do. I will post it to chat. It is Even More Jesus.
Nice.
I've had this one on the show before, and I'm.
Oh yeah. I've had it on the show before too.
Yeah, I'm not going to apologize, but it is. Hopefully, it's a fantastic beer. It always has been. But the fun part about this kind of a beer is that, well, one, it's a fantastic style. It's what we love. It's an imperial stout, but it's seeing how it holds up over time, right? So I think you've had it once. I've had it at least once, but I haven't had this in about 2 years. So I kind of like seeing how they did with the style. So I'm kind of excited about that. With this one, good, probably a half-inch head on it. Looks perfect, smells good. That's an American Imperial. Absolutely no doubt. Viscous pour. Oh, hits you right in the sinuses. Chocolatey, lots of cocoa, coffee, mouth-watering. That's a solid Imperial Stout. They every time.
And yeah, they're just consistently studs. And that's like a 12%er, 11 and a half.
This is coming in at 12%. Yes.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and the only reason I recall that, because I'm oddly a savant when it comes to ABVs on beers. I don't know. But also, I remember specifically because it is the right balance of being a high ABV and you get the booze, you taste it. I'm not saying it's not there, but it doesn't ruin the beer. It's not overpowering. It doesn't take over anything. It's just like, oh, this lets me know I'm drinking a 12%er and I should be cautious, but it doesn't fucking suck because of it.
Right. Absolutely. This pours like motor oil. Oh my gosh. All right, so that's gonna prime the old pump for the rest of the show here. What do you have over there?
Yeah. Well, you talked about pouring like motor oil. I have a beer it's actually I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little frightened by it. This is from Four Seasons Brewing. We've been getting them out here a bit, and I don't even know where they're from, but I've been seeing their beers. Oh no, I'm sorry. This is from Mother Earth Brew Company. This is their Four Seasons line of beers. So this is a special line of beers they're doing. So it's Mother Earth Brewing. And I don't know where they're from. Let me see here.
I want to say they're out of California, if I remember correctly, like Napa area.
Yeah,
maybe.
I think that's right. Yeah. Anyway, this is an Imperial Brown.
Ooh, yeah.
Now, brown ales are not easy to imperialize because that means you got to stick them back in a barrel. These are bourbon barrel aged, and this one is with coconut, chocolate, and coffee. This thing is a 13%er, and it poured like cold maple syrup. And I shit you not, it poured like cold maple syrup. It's brown and with that golden hue to it, just like maple syrup. It smells like it. It glugged as it came out of the can. So I'm a little frightened here because I've not ever had
while it was there, or
it's pretty close. It's pretty close to that, dude. I don't know. It's very viscous. I mean, we talk about viscosity on this show probably more than any other show. Than I don't know. Maybe the car guys.
Yeah.
Talked about viscosity more than we do, but the Tapper brothers. But I don't know. I've never seen a beer pour this light in color and be that thick. So they might just be tricking me, and they might have just fermented some maple syrup, and that's what I'm drinking. But let's see what we got here.
So for everybody
smell.
out there,
healthy smell.
It's not typical to get a Imperial Brown. That's somebody who's got a real attitude if they want to go and get into that. And I'm really curious how this is going to be because
you said it, dude. They got a real fucking attitude. These guys are dicks. They're fucking assholes. I'll tell you why. Okay, I'll tell you why. It's too boozy and it's too sweet for its own good. And I cannot wait to drink more. I can't wait to drink more. It's like, whoa, that was a lot going on all at once, and I can't wait for more of it. So some coconut, much more heavy on the coffee. The coffee comes in at the end with a little bit of bitterness and that earthy bean, flavor. Ladies, you know what I'm talking about, the bean. But overpowering all of that is the booziness and the maple. And I'm not even saying I don't like it. I love it. It's really strange beer. You can't put this in a class with any kind of imperial stout, any kind of imperial IPA, obviously. This is its own fucking animal, and it's weird, and I love it.
How dirty
Well
is
done.
it? Because browns need to be dirty in order to be a true brown.
I'll tell you, it is dirty, but it's that coffee that brings up the dirtiness, that real earthy, that it calms down the sweet, those really high sweet notes. The coffee just brings it all back down to earth. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's the balance between the sweet and the bitter that I'm liking so much. But it's a really well balanced beer, and I'm telling you, as I'm talking, I'm feeling it burn my esophagus all the way down. It is every bit of this 13%. Holy
right.
shit! I feel like I just had a shot of whiskey.
Neat. All right, so that is going to be interesting to see how that kind of warms up over the rest of the hour. So, good for you. I've always stayed away from Mother Earth for whatever reason. They've always struck me as being just this hokey, whatever. Maybe it's just the Mother Earth part. It just doesn't resonate with me. The name.
Yeah, they seem like they're like a bunch of tree hugging,
right?
Hippies.
Right.
But no, this thing's serious, dude. This is a serious beer. They took it seriously because it's well done. It's nice finish. Whew. All right. Second half of the show. Hang on, everybody.
Is that their Spring 24? Because they've done this before, and the other beer. Okay,
yes.
So that's Spring 24, a big barrel-aged imperial brown with coconut, chocolate, and okay. So if you look at Winter 23, was a bourbon barrel-aged triple berry imperial stout. Autumn 23 was a bourbon barrel-aged cocktail-inspired imperial stout.
And I have that one right there. I have that one in the fridge. That is next week's beer. I'm telling everybody right now, I have that in the fridge.
All right.
So, yeah.
All right. That's awesome because one, it's from 2023, so it's a little aged, and you're going to get to have some fun with those. All right. You've restored my faith. I will start drinking some Mother Earth. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, let me know what you find out there.
I can't find those. I've never seen those. I would totally take a swing at one of those because it's big. It's the barrel age. It's they have to put in some effort into it. It's not just something it's not just chalk, right?
Right. They can't just smoke a bowl and create a beer.
Yeah. So I'll take a run at that.
Yeah, and real quick, I'm gonna just interject here again. Sorry, I'm sort of stealing. I'm taking control of the rudder here. We had a very weak. I'm switching gears to solar activity. We had a very weak CME come off the sun on like late Tuesday night. It was so inconsequential that it was like, okay, we don't even have to worry about it. Well, late last night and into this morning, it got us to a KP7. Okay, a KP7 is right on the cusp of we might need to be concerned here. That's a big storm. And this thing was not dense. It wasn't fast. It wasn't aimed right at us. It was off like ahead of us. So I'm just throwing this out there that the Earth's weakening magnetic field is a major concern that nobody is talking about at all, because an eruption like that should have been nothing more than a breeze on the a breeze to the Earth's hair. It should have just been like no big deal. What a beautiful day. And instead it became this thing where it was like a fucking third grader just knocked out Mike Tyson. Like you need to stand up and take notice of this. It's not normal. So I did want to throw that out there. I meant to put it on the dock and I didn't. And I just got reminded of it because you brought up the climate change stuff. So much of the climate change stuff is due to our weakening magnetic field. And here we are. And by the way, somebody brought up in a thread that I was following, someone brought up that is it possibly that we're getting, bad data from our measuring instruments? The instruments that measure the Earth's magnetic field, it is like one of the most robust scientific systems we have out there. This isn't like, just the Hubble telescope. One guy out there looking and being like, yeah, we found a thing. No, the system that is worldwide that measures the Earth's magnetic field, there's probably 7,000 stations around the planet, and they all get monitored independently, and they get all the data is thrown together and amalgamated. So it's really robust. It's very consistent. And the fact is they're getting weaker and weaker readings by the week at this point. It's weakening by the week. So it's a huge deal, and no one's talking about it. And I just want to talk about it on the show, and now we can move on.
Well, just to kind of make sure everybody was aware that data comes out and it's not altered, and that it's available for everybody, and then it's interpreted.
It's public,
right?
Yes.
So it's not altered.
Yep.
I think that's one of the things with public domain, like NASA, most NASA stuff. There might be like a 24-hour turnaround before it's released, but and I think probably for that data, it's pretty much real time, right? Or close to, like within a few hours, probably.
And there are several apps that you can download that will give you real time data on it. I personally go with the Carrington app. You can look it up and find it on any of the major platforms. Very good app. It gives you data from probably 60 or 70 different angles of the sun, the earth, earthquakes, and all of the data that plays into all of those things. And if you know what you're looking at, it's really concerning. If you're new to the game, give yourself some time. You will start to figure it out when the alerts come up and why. But I like that app, but there are others, and they all source from these, measuring stations all around the planet, and it's a big deal. So just keep your head on a swivel, people. The fucking President Biden being an idiot is the least of our worries.
And follow @SunWeatherman on X. Fantastic follow.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's he's actually the guy who runs the Carrington app.
Correct.
All right, Fitz, we need to get into the SCOTUS rulings. Supreme Court went absolutely off this week. It started off in a way that was very, very concerning. And I still think it is concerning because it made the social media aspects of the government's ability to press for, removal of information. We'll just call it that. I think that's what it is, whether it's, freedom of speech or whatever they call as far as a misinformation. They threw that aside and said, no, we're not gonna we're gonna overrule this. We're gonna say that the government has the right to do that, and I think it actually pushed it back into lower courts to kind of figure out how to go ahead and deal with that. That was the kickoff for the week, and we thought that was going to be a really, really big deal. It exploded after that, though.
Yeah, well, and if we can linger on that just for a moment, and I truly, I'm asking this question. I don't know where you stand on it, because I've seen some people are very concerned about that ruling and that it is a direct assault on the First Amendment. Other people are downplaying it and say it's not even about the First Amendment. It's more about the government's ability to control private companies. Where are you landing on that? Because I definitely have an opinion about it. But I just, you and I didn't get a chance to talk about it much because the pace of the week picked up so quickly. It was like, well, we can talk about that later. We got bigger shit to worry about here. So, but what are your thoughts on that?
I'm concerned about it anytime you start messing around with my ability to post information. Anybody should be able to read the information and come to in their own conclusion, right? Think critically, act accordingly. I don't think any scientists should be stifled. I think we should have peer-reviewed papers that are actually peer-reviewed. I don't think any scientists, from the Petersons to the McAuliffes, anything that happened during COVID makes me extremely weary of anything like this. Now, do I think this was a direct attack? I don't think it was, but the fact that it came up, you have to make sure that stays on your radar and you stay vigilant, because I think it can lead to bad things.
And I mean, yes, 100% agree. And I also feel like, I I guess just to state what you just said in a different way, it can lead to bad things. Yes, it can be manipulated and applied to too many things. And so, if I tell you that I have a 6-legged cat here at home, that's up to you to do your research and find out if I'm calling bullshit or if that's actually possible, or like show me pictures, whatever. It's not up to the government to say you're not allowed to say that because it's a false statement. I get to say whatever I want to say. The good, the bad, the ugly, the pretty. I get to say it all. That you're not allowed to curtail my ability to not only speak, but speak in a public forum. Now, if it's hate speech and I'm condemning somebody and I'm actively encouraging violence, then yeah, I need to be silenced. And there's routes for that. There's ways to prosecute that and have me stopped. But up to that point, I should be able to say, and I can say whatever I want. And this ruling starts to turn the volume down on that. And it's concerning to me. So take that for what you will. So like McShane said, this came out. And what's scary about that is that the volume gets turned down on this ruling because of all the other shit that came out in the last 24 hours. So just keep in mind that they had a ruling that directly affects 1A rights. And then all this other stuff comes out to make you forget about that.
The SEC had the ability to they had their own judges, okay, within the SEC.
Right.
So they could legislate,
Right.
They could go ahead and fine people or entities, traders, companies, anybody who has any involved with the Securities Exchange Commission,
insider trading,
the whole nine.
Yeah.
Which they should be able. They're the police. That's what the SEC should be doing. They should be making everything kosher, right? Well, the police don't get to be the judges also, and that's what's been going on for years. The Supreme Court came out and said, no, you guys actually need to push this out to an actual judge, right? You have to take it to federal court. The interesting thing is that, did you know that 90% of the SEC judgments, when they were handled in-house, favored the SEC? But if it goes to the federal government,
Of course.
the federal judges, they only win 60% of the time.
Yeah. Yeah, and those SEC judges were oftentimes like people that had no experience being a judge, very little legal background. They were insiders. They were people who knew financial markets and financial, ins and outs, but they weren't legal judges. And yet they were being given these legal cases that had actual bearing on your 401k and the price of the vehicle that you want to buy tomorrow. And like McShane said, they were ruling in the SEC's favor more often than not, way more often than not. And that's not okay. For some reason, dude, it just made me think about the fact that one of the only NFL's, actually the only NFL stadium that has its own legal system is the Philadelphia Eagles stadium.
Yes, they do. Well, they need it.
But those yeah, they need it, right? But even that, they bring in actual bench judges from the state level to be judges at that court in-house. So even an NFL team that's run by a private enterprise, even they're smart enough to be like, yeah, we need somebody who actually knows the law and bring them in. The SEC was like, nope, we're going to hire our own people and don't worry about it. Don't look over here. Fucking nuts. It's fucking crazy. So this one was a definite win for all of us, because this puts the legal rulings back in the hands of judges who know the law.
So keep in mind the term administrative law judges. Okay. This is a really nice way of saying it's an industry guy who's going to deal out punishment. That's exactly what this is. Now, Fast forward to yesterday, the Chevron decision. I know this is the one that everybody in chat is absolutely jacked about. So I'll say this is a win. This is a big win. I don't know. I'm looking at it as kind of okay, so where's the hammer coming? I'm going to get slapped upside the head because it seems too good to be true.
Yeah, it's a cautious win.
But we have a government that likes to that's gotten so big that because of the Chevron ruling, and I think it was like 40 years worth of precedence here, that the industries were so big that you couldn't go out and go to a federal judge and get a ruling on something because the federal judge didn't understand it necessarily. So the industries decided, you know what, we'll go ahead and we'll handle ourselves. So all the intergovernment agencies, the ATF, the EPA, CDC, FDA, FAA, pretty much any government agency has these little departments that are able to go ahead and weigh in on certain elements of government law. The Supreme Court just threw that out the fucking door, and it has turned a lot of things upside down.
Yeah, it's again, like you said, it's a reason for some cautious celebration. It feels like we got a little bit of power back.
That's what it feels like.
I mean, more power just fell into the hands of the people. Yeah. But like you said, where's the guy, maybe I'm getting a hand job, but where's the guy that's actually behind me doing a reach around and I get fucked in the ass now? I don't know. But that's what it feels like. We're waiting to, whose dick's gonna go in me now.
So here's how I kind of see this, and I think anytime that we can wrestle away any kind of legislation or any kind of, jurisdiction, okay, away from the government, I lean towards that direction because we have gone so far to the side of just being all over every goddamn thing we've got a judge, we've got everybody's all over everything, right? We've got EPA rules up the ass,
right?
It's all fucking over. Anytime that we can get a little bit of room to breathe, that business can breathe. Now, granted, business is going to jump and they're going to try and give you an inch. We're going to take a mile. That's going to happen.
Yeah.
Right. This is how it works.
Yeah.
But some balance had to come back, and this needed to happen because we've gone so far to the extreme. I hope it doesn't get out of fucking control. Yeah. I'd love to see the ATF not be able to go ahead and not door knock just because they feel like they should be able to door knock. I would love for the EPA to not say, well, climate change this, climate change that, and go ahead and start making rules because whoever's in the fucking presidential office, or whatever the WEF says, because we know that happens month or yearly. There's always be cautious, but this was a nice win, and it's kind of been buried by Biden's failure last night.
Yep. And that's another reason to just see, the master debate for what it was, which was a farce, which was a way to kill several birds with one stone. Don't look at all of this stuff over here. Look at this thing over here, and then help us convince an old man that he's too old to run, so we can get our next puppet in there. That's what it was. You can't convince me otherwise.
So we also had a ruling on the obstruction charges for the alleged riot from January 6th, which is going to make things a little bit interesting as far as Trump's charges. That came down also. That actually came down today.
Yeah.
So it was a hell of a busy day. and it was a hell of a busy week from the Supreme Court. And we always ask why, right? We're always going to ask why. Why did all this stuff happen this week? Why did Assange get let out of jail this week? Why was the debate picked for this week? There aren't any, it has to make you wonder. It just has to.
Yep. And again, you mentioned it earlier in the show, but it's not just what happened, but it's how it happened and the timing of it, when it happened, and in what order. And this week, we've been talking about it. Last couple of weeks have been slow, quiet.
Yep.
The news has
Very
been
much
sort
so.
of at a trickle, and we've been saying some big stuff is coming. And this feels like a setup. This is the pitcher has released the ball, so we know the pitch is on its way. But we don't know if the batter's going to swing, if it's going to be a ball, if it's going to hit the batter. We don't know, but I just feel it. Something's coming.
Well, you know what was buried? Let's listen to this.
Pfizer. Yeah.
Pfizer marketed its vaccine as safe for pregnant women. However, in February of 2021, Pfizer possessed reports for 458 pregnant women who received Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine during pregnancy. More than half of the pregnant women reported an adverse event, and more than 10% reported a miscarriage, many within days of the vaccination. Pfizer also possessed information from its own October 2020 study on pregnancy in rats, indicating that its COVID-19 vaccine was likely linked to infertility, loss of litters, and stillborn offspring. Number two, safety relating to heart conditions like myocarditis. Pfizer consistently denied any evidence of a connection or safety signal between its COVID-19 vaccine and myocarditis or pericarditis. Indeed, on January 18, 2023, when asked whether its vaccine caused strokes or myocarditis, Pfizer chairman and CEO Alan Berla stated, quote, "We've not seen a single signal, although we have distributed billions of doses," end quote. A signal that he was referring to as a safety signal, which refers to a negative consequence. However, as Pfizer knew, the United States government, the United States military, foreign governments, and others had found that Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine caused myocarditis and pericarditis. Number three, effectiveness regarding variants. Pfizer also claimed that its COVID-19 vaccine protected against COVID-19 variants, even though data available at the time showed Pfizer's vaccine was effective less than half the time against variants. Finally, transmission. Pfizer urged Americans to get vaccinated in order to protect their loved ones, clearly indicating a claim that Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccination stopped transmission of COVID-19. Pfizer later admitted that it had never even studied transmission of it after its recipients received the vaccine and whether they could say it stopped transmission. After making these misleading statements, Pfizer also engaged in some censorship attempts. Emails reveal that Pfizer officials coordinated with social media platforms to censor any speech critical of Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine safety and effectiveness. It should also be noted that Pfizer elected not to join the federal government's vaccine development program known as Operation Warp Speed and declined that development funding. When asked about that, Pfizer's CEO, Albert Bourla, said Pfizer did not participate in the program in order to, quote, liberate, end quote, Pfizer's scientists and to avoid government oversight of its vaccine development. He also said, quote, they want reports. I don't want to have any of that, end quote. Referring to they, when he said they, he was referring to the federal government. Pfizer's misleading statements contributed to success in marketing its vaccine in Kansas. By February of 2024, Pfizer had delivered over 3.3 million doses of its vaccine in the state of Kansas. This accounted for over 60% of all vaccine doses given in the state of Kansas. This suit is being filed today, and as I mentioned before, it is part of a multi-state effort in which more suits may follow depending on Pfizer's reaction.
Pretty damning stuff. And you know, what's sad is I don't think any of us are surprised at this point. I expected this, and I expect more states to follow suit. If you're the DA of Florida and you see this video, you're going to be like, all right, let's jump on board. Number one, because that's what you should do as a public servant, protect your constituents. Number two, there's a possible fucking payday for your state and your citizens in it. So why not jump in? Let's not forget, Pfizer made billions of dollars, of your dollars, taxpayer money, whether you took the shot or not. They made billions on it from around the world. So, everyone's looking at this going, I'd like a slice of that pie. Pfizer's fucked. Now, what I am curious about is way back, we were in the beginning stages of the pandemic. There was the Emergency Authorization Act. We're all familiar with that term, which we weren't prior to, but now we are. And from my understanding, that gave Pfizer immunity. That no matter what happens, it was like a CYA clause. Like, we're covered. No matter what happens, you're taking this willingly. And so I don't know what legal ground Kansas is standing on here, because if it wasn't Emergency Authorization Act, they shouldn't really have a case, because that's all, sunsetted and it's over. So I don't know. I'm not a lawyer and I don't pretend to be one. So we'll see. We'll see where it goes. I really fucking hope Pfizer gets buried and with no gravestone. Like, it's an unmarked grave and no one fucking ever remembers them again.
But this is the kind of stuff, and that was Kansas City Attorney General Chris Kobach, Kobach, and that actual link was from Kane, Kane, Koa, Koa, the Great, a great follow. We've had his stuff on the show before, so at Kane Koa the Great. Very well thought out, drills down into the evidence, gives you it all. Great follow. Highly suggest. But there is so much damage done, and it's verifiable now. We can see it. There's evidence all over the place. In chat, Justin, how many miscarriages that there were between 2021 and 2023. And I know your wife is a nurse and handles labor and delivery. Small representation. That's not all of it, though. It was widespread all across the world. You have other places, South Korea, Japan. It's been seen in New Zealand, even though they're pretty much tucking their tail. It's rampant, and it's obvious that something happened and that not everybody reacted well to the jab. So we'll probably get kicked off of YouTube this week for that. But this is a big thing, and this got buried this week. This, with all the other minutia, this didn't come up.
It did.
This did not come up out there.
We do have a Hefe sighting, and I do understand. We've got a farm report coming. We got Tabby is very excited for the farm report. So, Hefe, how's the night going now? Is it getting any better?
A little better. There's this player here that, one of our better, tippers, and he's actually friends with Buttercup's dad from way back in the day.
Oh wow!
She'll know who I'm talking about. I don't want to name him, but he's a super nice guy. Him and his wife are super cool, and when they win, they tip really, really well. So anyway, I'm walking off the floor just now out here, and they're walking past me. And I was like, "Hey guys, how's it going?" And I put my fist up to fist bump him, and he totally didn't see it. And I'm like just holding it there as I'm walking by him, waiting for him to see. And he never did.
No.
It's the worst feeling in the world.
That is an awkward feeling.
So
I'm not trying to one up you, but I'm gonna tell you what happened to me today. On Fridays I go out for lunch. Monday through Thursday I bring my lunch to work, but Fridays I go out because I got to get out of the office, and it's just kind of a Friday treat. I go to my favorite Mexican restaurant. I sat down. I had the most amazing chorizo omelet. Oh my God, they fucking know how to do it there. Plenty of cheese, plenty of chorizo, all kinds of vegetables. Anyway, I'm sitting there just chowing down on this thing, and one of the guys that I work with comes in, and I see him. I'm like, hey, Adam, what's up? And he puts out a fist to fist bump, and I put out a hand to high five, and I grab his fist.
Yes!
There's.
I love it.
I shook it a little bit, and he's like, all right, man. And he went up and ordered and got it to go, and he left. Didn't even say goodbye or nothing. He just left.
Nice.
Yeah, it was so awkward. And I was like, okay, well, at least I have a fucking good omelet to eat. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I get that. Too. Yeah, the other way though, because people want to high five all the time, and we have a no open policy, so we got a fist bump. If anything, we fist bump. So they're high five. Yeah. I can give you this, and they always grab my fist. Like, okay, thank you.
Yep. Yeah. Well, that was me today. And by the way, that's not the same guy that undoes his belt to piss at the urinal. So,
well, that's
guy.
Right.
Hefe, are you ready to unleash your farm report?
Oh, I am so ready to bust this thing open. Let's do it.
Yes.
All right. The audio is not playing, so go ahead and go for it. The audio did not play.
Cue the music.
It's all right.
Can we get Fitz to do it?
God
damn it.
Is that good?
That'll work.
You gotta cut that. That's the opening from now on.
All right.
Please don't.
Oh shit. All right. What do you got, Big Daddy? Bring it home.
Oh, I gotta compose myself. All right. Did you know? Nobody knew this. In a recent study, 24.2% of young farmers in the U.S. identify as something other than heterosexual.
Whoa.
Also, a new study shows that farmers have the most sex out of any other profession in the United States.
Shut the fuck up. How would they know that?
That's what they said.
Sorry.
That's what my data says.
That was an emotional reaction. I'm sorry.
If any of you out there, maybe Tabby, maybe not, any of you out there thinking of dating a farmer, here's some tips. And these also go for anybody looking to date Hefe too. They both apply. Be understanding of their busy schedule. Be prepared to learn new things. And be prepared for a slower pace of life. That's your farm report.
I couldn't pull it off. Holy shit.
Oh my God.
We're a fucking mess.
I didn't, you know what? And honestly, I didn't.
When I say we, I mean.
Well, I didn't. For whatever reason, I didn't check it tonight. Everything loaded perfectly, and I didn't. That was the one thing I did not check. So seriously, they don't all of it. They identify as that's fantastic. Hefe, that's very inclusive.
You said 24.2%.
Yeah.
Don't they're not heterosexual. I kind of believe that. I got a lot of farmers in my family, and I know at least a quarter of them are, having sex with, their family members and or same sex, which is fine. It's cool. Just, be careful the baby that you make, I guess.
Hey guys, I know especially everybody here and in this chat has a lot of experience in this area. We're going to talk about how to make the perfect masturbation video for sexting. This is a Mashable.
Hey, we're going
here.
Yep,
this is from Mashable. All right. So Mashable is very passionate about making sure everybody can masturbate and show it off to everybody really, 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 really well, and making sure that it's really exciting. The setting is important for a variety of reasons. Location and the timing are two ways people people's turn-ons come into play. It can also be the source of the ick. So you need to make sure that it's not going to be an icky area. So like if you're in the middle of the kitchen and you're going for it, might not be the best place, or in the bathroom, like you're on the toilet. You probably don't want to send a masturbation video while you're doing that.
You don't say.
Messy backgrounds.
No one wants to see a fucking log in the toilet.
Right.
Sorry,
or the echo, right? From the bathroom, or, being in the stall while you're at work. Okay. For all you out there who are listening.
What?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I feel you looking at me.
Distracting or messy backgrounds when you're shooting a video in bed or toilets in the background are a few things you'll want to stay away from. Some people are more concerned with production value, whereas spontaneity is hot for others. I'm all about the spontaneity, but I appreciate good production value.
Yeah, I go green screen all the way. I do it right in front of the Eiffel Tower usually.
So you throw up the whole backdrop the whole way?
Oh yeah, Stonehenge. Bitches love that. Like my cock in front of Stonehenge, it just looks like one of the pillars. It's amazing.
Sesame Street. Maybe that's just me.
The Count.
Darren, a Boston, Massachusetts-based math teacher, says men only have so many cards to play, so he deliberately cuts his clips to keep things interesting. There's something about staying.
He cuts his clips.
There's a P.
Clips.
In there.
Oh God.
He doesn't have. I mean, he might have clips. I don't know, but this is clips, according to Mashable.
That frightened me.
There's something about staying focused on yourself while filming. The climax is part of the story, so you still have to achieve that. And I've received my share, and I give me everything. Don't make me get half a porno.
Yeah.
I think that's appropriate. And you should always give somebody else a money shot.
Yeah. And no, Mike, I've never made eye contact with myself while whacking off on camera. No.
Would you
what I
fuck
have
me?
done,
I'd fuck
and
me.
this
Sorry,
one,
what?
and exactly. That's what was his name? Something Bill.
Wild Bill.
Yes.
Wild Bill.
Yes.
Yeah, that's no. You don't want to go into that territory. I will say the one positive feedback I had was I shot a this is embarrassing, but so I shot a video of me just sort of rubbing the tip, and that because I was so hot for the person, that's what made me, climax. All I had to do was rub the tip a little bit, and that was a lot of. I mean, she kept that video. She might still have it to this day. She really liked that, which I liked it too. It was pretty amazing because I was so
just rubbing the tip.
So horny. I just had to just rubbing just a little bit. Like
dude, that's like unicorn type stuff.
Edging. It just no, dude, no. I was so into this girl. She sent me a few pictures, and I'm like, here, let me show you what your pictures did for me, to me, with me, whatever. And so I videoed it. It was like one of the first videos I ever sent. I mean, I was like flush with blood everywhere because I was like so nervous to send it. And she, it was very positive reaction. So that's, and really since then I haven't done it much. So I guess I'm batting 1,000. I'm gonna leave it at that.
I'm still amazed. That's like that's some serious technique. Or I mean, she was like, you had to have been seriously like, wow, good for you,
dude. Yeah, she was all kinds of. She was the kind of hot that I had no business even talking to her. So I don't know how I got there, but I did, and I'm gonna put that notch to my belt.
So you didn't worry about lighting, right? Like,
no, it was totally impromptu. That was the thing. It was like, no, it was, and it was the middle of the fucking day. Like, Just all I had was some sunlight coming in.
Apparently, you need to make sure that your lighting is like perfect, right? So the cinematography really, really matters. I don't know what kind of like music bed is best for putting in one of these videos. I'm gonna have to really think about that. But this is a really big thing. Lighting is a major hack to feeling and looking appealing. Overhead and fluorescent lights can seem a little cold and sterile. I have colored lights. This is this woman talking, Mona. Her name is Mona. It's Mona. I have colored lights on pretty much all the time, Mona says. It can be a little more dim. It depends on how I'm feeling. Do I want to be red or do I want magenta highlighting my vagina while I'm masturbating? Rebecca also favors her pink LED lights. So apparently there's a Rebecca in here too that I didn't read about.
I'm gonna break it down for all the ladies. Like, as guys, the fact that you're showing up and are willing to show us what's happening, I honestly, like, the lighting is like tertiary, maybe.
Yeah.
Just the fact that you're there, like, it could be the worst lighting ever, and I'm into it. Like, go for it.
As long as you can see what's going on, kind of.
Right. Well,
yeah, exactly.
Well,
right. You gotta be able to see it. It can't be dark.
That brings up the next point. When it comes to angles, the obvious point of view angle, or from underneath straight on between the legs, works for everyone. However, Veronica, a 27-year-old communications professional, recalled one that's received rave reviews. Apparently she has a subscriber list. She says, basically, you're getting on your knees and leaning down onto your forearms and then taking a selfie trying to get that arch. I can imagine that arch right now. Switching positions from
I'm all about
that side view she sets up while recording to sitting on a toy can also make for a variety of views in one video. This is very educational.
These all sound good.
I'm all in. These are professionals.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, and you know what's challenging for a guy, like on our end, like a woman can have all these different, views and poses, and they can arch their back, and they can do like the butt over back thing. They can do the, looking down from the tits into the legs thing. They can sit on the camera. They can do basically what they can put the camera up inside themselves. It doesn't matter. Like, we like it all. For a guy, like, I have this stick coming out of my body that you need to somehow see me manipulating. That's going to make you hot. That's challenging. That's hard.
I got to go.
Okay.
All right. Go handle your stick at roulette.
All right. Yeah. Right.
Later, Hefe.
Actually, I guess that would have been Craps' stick.
Oh, shit.
Anyway. God damn it. Yeah, this is quality. This is Mashable. Mashable.com. Absolute quality.
I mean, it was a fascinating read. I think personally women are putting way too much thought into this. But it's a challenge for dudes. It really is.
I think they're putting in the exact amount that I would expect, especially with the vanity that kind of goes along with it. I mean, I think for dudes, what are we going to do? I mean, fucking put a hat on it and draw some eyes and stuff. I mean, you can't dress this shit up. So let's be honest about it. And if they're into that, that's
Lipstick
rad.
on a pig.
I mean, all right, I'll play ball. But I think when you've got a woman, they're going to get into the nuances of it, the lighting, and I can see that, I'm going to make this fucking... How many cuts? This is what I want to know. How many, what is the average number of masturbatory takes that they have before they send the perfect masturbation video to whoever they're sending it to? It can't, it doesn't happen on the first try.
Do we care?
No, but this is where my analytical mind goes. I want to know, okay, on average, for you to get to that money shot, how many videos, oh, fuck, this sucks, start over, and then, she goes back at it, right? And then, oh no, you know what? I'm just going to call Sheila to come over. Hold the camera for me, please. This angle is absolutely terrible. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and start again. I mean, does that happen? This is where my mind goes, which is probably disgusting, but
I don't actually, no, I don't think so.
You think it's more private that way?
I hope not. Yeah, I think it's, first take. This is how hot you made me. Because women are more emotional. Like as guys, we think,
but they're also
like, the logic. We have to logic it and make sure it's the perfect take. Women are like, oh, I'm so hot right now. Look how hot you made me. Which is where I was at that day. Which is why I think she found my video so appealing, was because I was just in the moment and I was like, oh my God, you just made me erupt because you're so hot. So I think that's more the operating system that women operate from. I could be wrong. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but
I'm going to go the opposite direction. I can't agree with you on that. I think there's a level of vanity there that has to be exhumed.
All right.
You know what? We should put a poll out. We'll put a poll out. We'll put a poll out and we'll have an answer for next week. Sound good?
We definitely.
So, all right.
Yeah.
So you guys in chat.
So
what is it? So how many takes do we make it women only or men too? We got to make it women only, right?
No. Yeah, women only. If you're going to send a masturbation video to your guy, how many takes until you get the perfect one? Or until you get the one you're going to send?
So we've got one. And so one take, we'll say 2 to 3 takes, 4 to 5,
or 4
or 4 more. Just keep it to 3.
4 or more. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. See, this is quality. This is what we bring every week.
Because if it's 4 or more, like at that point you just stop counting. You're like, okay, it's been a lot. I'm just gonna. I mean, like Tabby said, you're just gonna fake it at that point. Like, I'm not gonna get a real thing here, so I'll just fake it.
Well, okay. So we didn't.
Gonna get raw.
Okay, to chat's point, yes, you guys are absolutely taking it. Oh, Jesus. You're absolutely telling us, yes, we weren't going to publicize it, but okay, it takes more than one take. It takes more. That's my takeaway that from chat. But I'm still going to throw a poll out there because 1, it's funny, and 2, it's scientific, and we're doing this for science.
100%. And, we might want to throw it out there after we get the results of the poll. I might need some examples. And I'm not saying from anyone in chat, but I'm just saying like from X in general. I need to see some examples. What was your first take like? And then what was your fourth take like? And then I'll tell you how fast that makes me get hard. And I'm going to tell you, both of them are going to be the same.
Right.
But, that's your thing.
Direct message at Fitz Whiskey or WH Pod.
Yeah.
All right. Fitz, was there anything left on the list of tonight's show that you wanted to get to? I think we had a lot we had to
real
hammer
quick.
through, so.
Yeah, we did. And I think we got to all the really important stuff really quick. Can we talk about Göbekli Tepe? And only because I nerd out on Göbekli Tepe, and I have for a long time. This is no, I'm not having a seizure. This is an actual name of a place in, I believe it's Turkey, the country of Turkey, but it's an archaeological site that they found probably 15 years ago. Started excavating it. It was on a farm. Started to excavate it, and they started finding that dating it was at least 12,000 years old, which, if you believe the modern narrative, that would say that we were all hunter-gatherers at that point, that we hadn't established any, actual societies, that there was no communal gathering places, that there were no buildings. We were just all basically setting up teepees and moving with the herds of bison and or reindeer for our food. And Göbekli Tepe basically smashes all that to bits like a fucking glass vase, because it's a very extensive site, and here's why we're bringing it up now. The site is very extensive. They've excavated about 30% of it, and it has been giving us clues to ancient cultures, ancient societies. They've got carvings of people in the stone. They've got symbols, which means they had written language. They have, depictions of hunting, but also of farming. And so it also points to agriculture being established 12,000 years ago. So anyway, Göbekli Tepe basically, annihilates the accepted, quote unquote, archaeological narrative. And again, we talk about narratives a lot on this show. And because it goes against that, the powers that be decided to put a tent, a cover over what's been excavated already, and then plant a tree farm on the rest of the site. And they planted protected trees, so you can't dig underneath and find out what's more. What else is there? You can't find out any more about the site because they planted protected trees on it. Now, on the surface, yeah, I guess you could just pass that off as, well, they're trying to protect the site. But all of us want to go, why don't they want us to see what's under there? What more do they think they know? What more do you think they've found? It's a very interesting story, and it's one of those rabbit holes that if you jump down it, like, just be ready to do a deep dive for 3+ hours, because it goes deep. Not only will you be fascinated by what they have found, but the clues leading to what they might find in the rest of the site, it'll keep you up at night, because they're talking about there's some carvings in there that could be related to aliens, UFOs, knowledge passed down from other beings that aren't of this world, that kind of shit. So you get into like this weird place where you're like, okay, I guess I'm a conspiracy theorist now because I totally believe what I'm seeing. And why else would they plant trees that you can't cut down? Interesting stuff. So I just wanted to mention that. I'm a huge fan and sort of very amateur student of Göbekli Tepe. And I think you should be too, because it's interesting stuff.
I think we should come back to that and do, if we ever get some fucking downtime where we can actually do, I'm not going to say a deep dive, because I don't think it's a deep dive type of situation, but a good, like, a second half of the show. I would love to come back to that, because you cannot argue against why is the WF involved? Why is UNESCO involved?
Yes.
Right? And then if you're going to go ahead and plant, this orchard above him, that's all protected trees, that screams you're hiding something. I don't know what else is. And then if you look at what was dug up, what they'd already found was that there is some pretty, contradictory stuff. Like, we're talking about civilization might have already been here. It was wiped out, and now we had to start over, which kind of goes along with the theory that the Earth gets wiped out every 6 to 12,000 years because of the sun and pole shifts and a number of other things. So,
you bet.
If they'd spent time digging, they would have found that that's all true and we should panic more. I mean, that seems reasonable.
Yeah. Yeah. Why else would they be hiding it?
I'd like to get back into that and dig a little bit more. We did find the in show notes. You'll be able to see a reference to it. It was on Nick Fuentes and Jimmy Scorsese. Was it? I think.
Yeah. Yep. Scorsese. Yep.
You guys can look at it. It's InfoWars, so do with it what you will. We consider information.
Yeah.
You process it how you want to process it, whether you want to take it seriously or not.
Information.
But it does go along with everything else that's really fucked up, and we are in a point. following Sun Weatherman, you look at the history, you look at, all the other stuff that's been going on. We are in a very turbulent time when it comes to the sun and, our trip around around it.
It's been about, It's been about 12,600 years. And as McShane said, these things happen every 6,000 years is a minor excursion. Every 12,000 years is a major excursion. And every 24,000 years is an excursion that is like an extinction level event. And we're at that 12,000 year mark. So it's going to be big. It's not going to be extinction level, but we're here, folks. And and the more we know about what happened in the past, the more we can inform ourselves as to what's coming. And I don't think the powers that be want us to know that. That's my personal theory, and take from that what you will. That's where I'm at.
Fitz, what beer are you taking to bed?
Oh God, I'm taking to bed the fucking maple syrup, the fucking Mother Earth Imperial Brown. I'm gonna say two statements that might not seem like they go together, but they do. They actually enhance one another. This is the oddest beer I've ever had, and also the most pleasantly surprising beer I've ever had. It's odd in the sense that like I said, it's got that super hyper sweetness. There's a lot of booze in it up front. And then there's something about that coffee finish that just says, everybody calm down and get ready for round two. And then you just keep drinking it. And round 2, round 4, round 8, it just keeps getting better. It's just a very strange beer, but I love it. And I would buy this again in a heartbeat. I would recommend anybody to try this, because you've never had a beer like it before. And yet it'll please every one of your senses you're looking for if you want a 13%er. Just a fascinating beer. Well done, Mother Earth. Well done. What about you? What are you taking to bed tonight?
I'm going to take to bed the Even More Jesus, Evil Twin Brewing. It's just two totally different beers, two different leagues. The Swally Export Scotch Ale was good. But it's not going to ever make it into my rotation. If I saw it and if it was the only Scotch Ale that was up there on a list of 20 some beers, I'd probably grab it, but I'm not going to bring it home. I'm not going to, it's not going to be like, something I'm going to hang my hat on. But Evil Twin, Even More Jesus, this Imperial Stout, even the original Jesus one, I think it's just More Jesus. It's a fantastic beer. They just it's
well done.
Well done. It's like listening to a great piece of music. That's what it comes down to for me. It might not, it might not be orgasmic or anything, but goddamn, it's just like that's my go-to music. I would so go ahead and I would hit that again. So it's solid.
Nice.
All right. Thank you, everybody in chat. Buttercup, Beer to Liberty. Justin, thank you for joining us tonight. Aaron, Suck It, Chevron. If you guys haven't listened to I Had to Say It pod, you guys need to. Dude's phenomenal. And Aaron, I'm glad, one, that you were able to stick with us and stay coherent without drinking tonight, because I know you're on some heavy meds. But it's phenomenal that you're here. So thank you very much. Tabby and Mike from Gray's Tap Room, thanks for joining us. If you guys want to get a hold of us at whiskey_hell, we're on X. We're all over the place. You're on Instagram. I think we might even be on Facebook, allegedly. I'm kind of trying not to admit to that.
Yeah, don't tell your mom about us.
Well, tell your mom, but have her send videos to Fitz of her masturbating. That's what we want to have happen.
Yeah, but I want the first take.
Just one take. Fuck it, we'll do it live. Yeah. Fuck it.
There you go. Now we're talking.
I'm Steve McShane.
I am Fitz.
Think critically.
Act accordingly.
We'll talk to you soon.